Hello Farm to School community. During our time together, we will be going over 2 activities that we can do to engage little ones, young people, and students in our spring garden planning. The first activity that we will do together is this lesson from Georgia Organic's Turnip the Volume curriculum, and it is called Measuring to Make Seed Tapes. The second activity will involve transplanting a lavender plant into one of our food corps sites at Indian Creek Elementary School. I am especially interested in growing this plant in a school garden because it is aromatic, so we can engage our senses. It's a nice tactile plant, and it's also a soothing herb that won't require that much care once it is in its new location. Let's get started. Measuring to make seed tapes materials: newspaper, color pencils, 1 per child, scissors, a ruler, 1 per child, flour, water, a bowl to make paste, popsicle sticks, 1 per child, and seeds. I will be making my seed tape with snow peas because snow peas are nitrogen fixers, and we will use them for the soil health of the raised beds at the school garden. I would encourage you to think about what seed you would like to grow, and then look at that seed's package, because seed packages often have a great deal of information about that particular seed. They can tell us how far we are going to space those seeds on our seed tape, how deep we would like to plant them, as well as when it is the best time to plant. I will be planting my snow peas after making my seed tape. And the amazing thing about the seed tape is that you can allow it to dry and store it if you need to plant at a later date. Directions: use your color pencil, ruler, sheet of newspaper, and scissors. We will create a strip of newspaper by measuring and tracing the dimensions, which will be 1 inch thick and typically 22 inches long. I will be going as far as the sheet of newspaper goes. Depending on the age of the child, they can help you with measuring and cutting the newspaper strip. Measuring is one of the Georgia standards of excellence, and cutting is a great exercise for helping our little ones develop and strengthen their fine motor skills. Once your newspaper strip is ready, explain to your students that seeds require space to grow. My seed packet indicated that snow peas needed to be spaced about 2 inches apart. So I will be drawing my first dot with a color pencil, and then each dot that I put on the newspaper will be 2 inches apart from the other until there is no more space left. You will ask your student to mark with their own color pencil and use their measuring tool to do so. In the next step, we will create a flour paste to glue our seeds to the newspaper strip. Fill your bowl with about 1/3 of flour, then add water until the mixture thickens and becomes sticky. If you have a helper, they can help you stir with their popsicle stick. Next, you will use your popsicle stick or have your helper use their popsicle stick to place a dab of glue or paste on their newspaper strip and stick seeds gently on each dot that we drew previously. Make sure it's just a dab of glue so that our seed has enough energy to break out of that newspaper strip and is able to germinate through the soil. Finally, you will allow your newspaper strip to dry and make sure to date and sign your newspaper strip in case that you are planting at a later date. So now that my seed tape is nice and dry, I am going to plant it in our garden at Indian Creek. And our seed packet says that the planting depth should be about 1 1/2 of an inch. And I'm just gonna use my finger as a non-standard measuring unit to measure about an inch deep, and I'm gonna use my trowel to dig a trench for my seed tape. And this is a cool activity for thinking about plant needs, and I like this acronym called PLANTS, which stands for place, light, air, nutrients, thirsty, and soil. So we're gonna add soil to our seed tape, and all of our pieces are spaced out so that they have enough space to grow and thrive as adult plants. They also have the air from the environment. And once I have covered my seed tape with soil, I'm going to add water, which is going to help my seeds to germinate. And you can have the little ones or students do this. You can have them water your seeds with cups so that everybody can have a turn in watering. What we're doing next is transplanting a lavender plant, and the word transplant stands for changing place. So this lavender plant is going to go from this container into this bigger container. Make sure that when you transplant your lavender plant, you pay extra attention to it and check up on it to see how it's doing. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to dig a hole that is bigger than my container. And I'm just gonna push the soil to the side. I think this should be a good size. So just a bigger hole. The next step is to take the label out of the container, and we are going to gently pull our plant out of the container. So you can squeeze the container to loosen up the soil, and then you're gonna pull with one hand away from the plant, and then you're gonna use your other hand to pull the plants out of the container that it's in. And again, doing it very gently because our plant is alive. What we're gonna do next is massage the roots to loosen up this clump of soil. And we can also tickle the roots. So tickle, 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 and massage. And now our lavender plant is ready to transplant. And I'm gonna create a nice home for this lavender. So it has all of its needs met. It's gonna have soil, it's gonna have air, it's gonna have light, space to grow into a big lavender plant. And once we have transplanted our plant, it is good to water it because that will help with the transplanting shock. And this is something that your little one can help you do, or you can have students water and transplant.
The end. Thanks for watching.